Hey guys, this is my quick video explaining how the BH ZBLL recognition system works. I'm going to also try to attempt to explain where all the BH patterns come from. So let's get into it. So let me set up like each perm and twist the corners and set this up. So I'm going to assume you are only going to recognize ZBLL from a fixed angle relative to each OCLL shape. If you are interested in multi-angle ZBLL, you can certainly do it, but I'm not going to cover that here. But anyways, so let's assume this is our last layer. So here I'll solve the pair. So step 1 is recognizing what OCLL or ZBL set you have and AUF to whatever angle you decide to recognize from. So here I see the oriented corners here and a last layer corner here. So I recognize this is a ZBLL or T set ZBLL. So I'll do U prime to AUF to the angle I will recognize T ZBLLs from. From here, the second step is I will see these two match and these two match, so I recognize the CP. I recognize that this is a 2GLL. So that reduces this from being one of 72 ZBLLs to now being one of 12. And then finally, I look at the BH pattern around the UFR corner to determine which of the 12 aces this is. So here I look at this corner, and I look at the pattern formed between these two edges that surround it and the corner. So here I see this is oriented, so these two are opposites and these two are opposites. So that tells me what case I have and that's how you recognize ZBLL. There are 36 possible patterns you might have, because let's set up an H perm again. Just as, well actually no. Let's grab so here are 5 cubes. They have each of the possible EPLL set up. Here we have solved, Z perm, UA perm, oh shoot, UB perm, and H perm. So I'll put them in this order and show you where the different BH patterns come from. So here this cube is completely solved. So the BH pattern around this, let's focus on the green, orange, yellow corner as our corner of interest, with yellow being the last layer. So here for the solved cube, we have the corner oriented, so these match and these match around this corner. But if we twist this corner anti-clockwise, we get a different pattern from these two edges in this corner, right? So now these two match, these are adjacent colors, and these two match, right? So if we twist it the other way, clockwise, now these two match, these are adjacent, and these two match, right? So just from this one this one solved EPLL case, we generated 3 BH patterns: oriented, anti-clockwise, or clockwise. It's a similar story for the H perm, right? Because it's rotationally symmetric. It doesn't matter if it's oriented, these two are opposites, these two are opposites. Twist it anti-clockwise, these two are now opposites and these two are opposites, these are adjacent colors. Or if we twisted it clockwise, now these two are opposites and these two are opposites. So that's another 3 of the BH patterns generated. Z perm is U2 rotationally symmetric. So that means that around, if we hold it like this, excuse me, actually we were talking about the green orange, so let's do that for consistency. These two are opposites and these two are opposites. If we do U2, again, these two are opposites and these two are opposites. So here we have this pattern, twisted clockwise, we get this pattern. Or if we twist it anti-clockwise, we get this pattern. But then if we do a Y rotation, here these two match and these two match. So we also get another set of 3 BH patterns: oriented, twisted clockwise, bar, these match, right? Or twisted anti-clockwise, we get the bar on the side and these match. And then the rest of the BH patterns come from the 2 U-perms, right? Because if you take a U-perm and you look at the pattern formed around whatever corners in this location, here we see these two match, these two are opposites. Do a U, look at this around this corner now, these match, these two are opposites. U, we have a bar, these two are opposites. U, here we have a bar here, and these two are adjacent. Similarly, same thing with this other U-perm, right? These are opposites, these are adjacent. These are opposites, these are adjacent. Bar, adjacent, bar, opposites, right? And then for each of those 4 possible patterns, those are just the oriented ones. So then you could have any of those corners be twisted clockwise or anti-clockwise to get the remaining possible BH patterns. So that is where all 36 of the BH patterns are derived. They just come from EPLL. So yeah, I hope this explanation of BH made sense as far as how the process works and where the BH patterns come from. Also, a pretty good to know trick that I used, why did I do that? While learning BH is, it's a little more obvious for this, so I'll use one of the U-perms. So here, because this corner is oriented, this would be pretty easy to do BH on because these are oriented, so we have these nice blocks. But let's say, excuse me, we get a case where the corner is twisted. You'll eventually learn this over time, and you can brute force just memorize all the patterns. Or what you can do, and what I did while I was learning, is mentally twist the corner so that way it's oriented in your mind. It's like, okay, I don't quite recognize this. I can see these are opposites though. It's like thinking about all this. I can mentally twist the corner and see, okay, now I see this pattern and these are adjacent and it looks like EPLL. And eventually you will just mentally twist the corner enough that you'll just see the pattern and know what it looks like when it's twisted as well. And that's how you can learn to recognize the BH patterns if you don't want to brute force just learn them all. So that's a cool trick to know. I hope this quick intro to BH guide video made sense and was helpful. And I'll see you later.